It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show! Hey everybody! Welcome to the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this week's episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
And Les Webster.
Hello there.
Unfortunately, Holly Briggs could not be joining us this evening due to issues in the real world, so we miss you, Holly, and hopefully you'll be back with us next week. So how are you guys doing?
Groovy.
I'm doing well, thanks.
So what's been going on the last few days?
Well, I have been reading actual comics for a change, which is nice. I have been kind of catching up on Nailbiter. I just plowed through the Volume 2 trade. When was that? The other day. I forget which day, but I like Nailbiter. Nailbiter's fun.
It was one of those days that ended with Y, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Okay.
It was
cool.
It was the weekend.
Cool.
What were you up to, Thomas?
Actually, I was working on reviews for Free Comic Book Day. Yeah, because that's coming up, and so I've been trying to read a bunch of those. There's some good stuff there. There's some really, really interesting stories, nice little teasers. I'm kind of excited. There's definitely some. I've been making some notes of going. Yeah, I want to pick that up when that actually comes out. So I'm kind of psyched about it. How about you, Les? What's been going on with you?
Well, I ventured out of town and found a couple of new shops up north of where we are, and it's kind of nice to see how things are done elsewhere. I can see the pluses, I can see the minuses, but overall it was a good fact-finding trip.
I know you've been working on your quest to get all the hero clicks that are ever made.
Yes, there is that. Now I just wish I could get one set finished. So if there's anybody out there that has chases that they don't want, just send them my way.
We'll work something out. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and get into this week's topic. Working on previews for the weekly books, idea dawned on me about intercompany crossovers or intra-company crossovers, and what brought it up was the preview for Lumberjane's Gotham Academy. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. And I said that would be something to be kind of fun. What kind of crossovers would you like to see? And it's funny as I threw out the idea to everybody else to talk about it. Dark Horse and Boom announced the whole Tarzan on the Planet of the Apes crossover, and then a sequel to Aliens versus Judge Dredd versus Predator follow up. And I was like, okay, it was just fate that this is probably the time that we need to kind of talk about this. So we decided to come up with a few fun suggestions for crossovers, and I think Mikey, you're going to lead off, aren't you?
I think I am.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying I actually don't usually go in for these things.
Mm-hmm.
The crossovers don't really appeal to me that much. I mean, there are the occasionally really good ones, but usually there's some weirdness, and it just kind of doesn't work all that well for me. I will say the one that I really liked recently was the Aliens Vampirella one. That one was just really well done. But anyway, that's not what the question was. The question was, which ones would I come up with? And so for my first idea, I'm going to go with Gru and Skull Kickers.
There's pretty diverse.
Because,
Yeah.
because man, if you want chaos, if you want fantasy tinged chaos, how can you possibly go wrong with those two titles? With, of course,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, and it would be a Dark Horse and Image crossover, but holy cow, would that not be awesome? I mean, with Gru and his just mindless, chaotic diving into the fray, and then the Skull Kickers with their just mindless and chaotic diving into the fray. Seems like a match made in heaven, really, for me.
Well, it'd be a match made in heaven for you, but it wouldn't be exactly the same for the people who are in the middle of it.
Yeah, the fray would not fare well, but
No.
everybody else would love it.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great one. I didn't even think about that. That was awesome. I'm going next, and you already mentioned one of the characters. It's funny because I've seen fan art including these characters before, and I'm kind of surprised that no one's done it yet, or at least they hadn't to my knowledge. Is Vampirella and Buffy. So you're talking Dynamite and Dark Horse. Two female protagonists going after other vampires. Uh, I think it would be kind of fun.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Vampirella's been paired with others before. Buffy has too. So, yeah.
I'm just kind of surprised they hadn't, to my knowledge, they hadn't done that yet. So it kind of surprised me when because I looked and I didn't see anything, but, well,
Yeah, and I like it with given the new kind of the new look Vampirella. They've made her more personable. I almost said human, but that really wouldn't fit. But with the new book, she's I like her. She's not as I mean, like especially early Vampirella was very she was not likable particularly. But she's gotten gradually more so over the years, especially since she's kind of the rebirth a few years back. She has gradually gotten more and more protagonist like. And this latest version, I really like her.
yeah,
She's a really likable character this time.
yeah. I definitely like the new series, yes.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. Les, what you got?
My first choice is kind of two characters that are almost the same. Darkseid and Thanos, whether it be a battle or the two of them on the same side.
Cool.
I'm just thinking that just obliteration is on the table. And maybe if it was a versus, we would possibly get a solid answer to the who would win question that always comes up.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see them go definitely against each other. I don't know how. It would be interesting to see how they would work together. What kind of cause would bring them together? Because they wouldn't. They. No, I don't, that's interesting. I would have to think about
I
that.
want to see those two as like a Bad Boys remake. Those two as buddy cops, that would be awesome.
Kicking ours.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty.
My other thought there was like Thelma and Louise, and that would just be weird.
But who would be the dumber cop of the two? Who would be the one that was pretty foolish?
Oh, I don't know. They may take turns. Who knows?
There you go. They each have moments of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overthink it, man. Come on. Just go with it.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, Mikey, you're up again.
I'm up again. All right. So I'm going to go a slightly different direction this time. I'm going to go with, I'm going to actually, this is weird for me. I'm going to venture into the superpowered realm. I'm going to go with empowered and faith.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, how much of a fit would that be?
Wow.
Because you've got empowered with the teenage angst thing going and the just being treated poorly. Being treated as, I mean, the whole second class citizen slash superhero complex thing. And then to partner that up with the just unbridled optimism of Faith, I just think it would be a fun little twist. I think that you could build some interesting stories out of that.
Agree.
I do too. I think you could probably carry that on for several arcs, maybe similar to what they do for Atomic Robo,
Yeah.
and just give you a 5 arc full story, and then wait a couple months and start it up again.
Very cool. Very cool. I like that a lot too. My second choice would, I'm sure, hopefully I'm not stealing any thunder from Les here. I'm not sure exactly how they could pull it off, but hey, that's not my problem. Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. I mean, you got the whole time thing, but two pulp heroes, two pulp sci-fi heroes joining together to take care of a universal threat. I think it would be cool if done right and done kind of in the spirit of the old serials. A lot of action, kind of a popcorn movie, that kind of thing. I think it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it could be fun.
I like that. You appeal to me with that one. It's a little different.
You know what? Darwin Cook could do that. I would love to see him do it.
Yeah, that'd be a good fit because he could redesign what he needed and mesh the two together.
Yep. Definitely he would throw the fun in there.
Yes.
Cool. Alrighty, Les.
I'm going to stay in the same realm, that of space.
Okay.
I'm going to bring one of my favorite characters, Adam Strange, and put him together with Space Ghost.
Okay. That would be cool.
I'd love to see Alana, Jace, and
Jaina.
And Blip all be very, very secondary, but they could be either the cause of the problem or they could be the characters that are trying to be saved.
Cool. And that would be another one that Darwin could do.
Or
I think so too.
Or they could be the ones that go bad, and then the boys have to team up to go stop them.
Yeah.
They could turn into like a supervillain league or something. Just if you're gonna do it, have fun with it, right?
Right.
That's right. Maybe they abscond with the Wonder Twins and see who gets to be made into an animal or a pail of water.
Maybe they could give the Wonder Twins some ideas on some better things to turn into.
Hopefully so.
Dude, turn into a gun! Come on!
Something, please.
A water gun?
No!
Oh.
A bullet gun. I know you've heard of them.
Oh, okay, Mikey.
Oh, me again, huh?
Yeah, you again.
All right, so let's move. I'm going to move this out of space and back down to Earth for a little bit. Although we're still going to stay kind of weird. I'm going to go with the October faction and Switch. For those of you who aren't familiar, well, I know I've talked about the October faction, and so
right.
they're a family of monster hunters. But Switch is kind of the heir apparent to the Witchblade series. Basically, the Witchblade has fallen into the hands of a kind of a normal teenage girl who then has to fight monsters. But so I think it could be an interesting kind of team up opportunity, especially given that with October faction, it's a couple of parents kind of teaching their kids how to be monster hunters, and boy, could Mary from Switch use some help learning how to be a monster hunter. So it could really work out well.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I do too. Does she use a switchblade?
No, it's pretty much the standard Witchblade setup. It's like the gauntlet, which kind of takes over and can kind of be whatever it needs to be at the time, depending on what it's fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that one too.
Yeah, lots of room for really fun, weird fantasy horror art.
Yeah. Okay. My choice. This is going to be right down Les's alley again. Batman, Moon Knight. Uh, the premise would be Moon Knight has to go to Gotham City. He's chasing uh, whoever, and of course that's Batman's territory. And Moon Knight's essentially a Batman clone with some issues. Not that Batman doesn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't Batman have some issues?
Yeah, but I think that would be pretty cool. To see the two of them duke it out for a little bit, and then of course have to team up to resolve the more important conflict or problem.
Okay. You've intrigued me there too.
Yay!
Okay,
Oh, you've hit two of my favorites right there.
Mm-hmm.
just out of curiosity,
Yes.
who would be a good bad guy for that one? Who does Moon Knight usually run up against?
Hmm.
Who would be good?
I would like to take somebody that they do not normally fight, either one of them, and toss them in. If you were to say something like Lex Luthor and somebody from the Marvel Universe, even Deadpool, as much as I would cringe.
Um.
Hey, any excuse to dump him into the DC universe, right? Get him
Yeah.
out of Marvel.
Now, if you want to talk about one of Moon Knight's villains, I mean, Bushman is up there, and Black Spectre's up there as for villains. But he really doesn't have too much of a rogues gallery. I
Well, I mean,
mean,
it sounds like he's kind of his own rogues gallery to an extent.
true.
So maybe it could be a versus type thing. I don't know. Just throwing out ideas here.
Moon Knight v Batman. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Well, if you remember too that Moon Knight's new storyline is going to be him trying to find out whether or not he is real. See if he is Moon Knight or if he is Mark Spector or any of the other
Personalities. Yeah.
personalities. Yeah,
So, Les, you're up next.
I'm gonna toss out Deadman and almost anybody because the idea of him occupying the body and controlling it, I think would be fascinating. The only one that I could really have a problem with is Sandman, although that may be entertaining in itself. But to me, Deadman is a character that can carry to any title, any other character.
You could take it like with a Swamp Thing type deal with like a horror bent.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool. Anybody else have some picks? Matchups?
I got one more.
Okay.
This one may sound just flat out insane, but bear with me. Speaking of horror, I came up with this one and then I kind of had to talk myself into putting it on the list because I really wasn't going to because it just seemed too odd. But let's go with Army of Darkness and Zombie Tramp. Now, before you say anything, keep in mind that both characters deal with some variation on an Necronomicon.
True.
So,
Mm-hmm.
ready to use bad guy right there. The book itself. And they both show up. Ash and Janie show up at the same place and end up fighting the book. Which isn't that far off of what they normally do anyway. I don't know if either of you guys follow Zombie Tramp at all.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, yeah. I have been somewhat impressed with how they've developed into an actual story-driven book with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because admittedly, when it started out, Zombie Tramp was eye candy, and which a zombie eye candy book. It's an interesting twist, but not to mention having weird necrophiliac undertones. But it has really it has really changed over time. It has really gotten to be a lot more story driven and more interesting. And the book is a big part of the character now. And the idea that Mr. Chainsaw would show up and start trying to destroy the book, I think would make it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. Some nice choices, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, see
Well,
what happens when you turn us loose for a few days and tell us to go nuts and come up with stuff?
well, I didn't mean literally nuts, but okay.
Oh, well, where's the fun unless we're really going to go nuts? Come on.
Let me pose one for you.
Okay.
Just sitting here like an idiot, I'm thinking about pairings. What about DC's Super Pets and Howard the Duck? Him leading them as a group.
You almost have to have a cameo by Rocket Raccoon in that, but just a cameo, just enough to,
I could,
just enough
yeah.
to be annoying, you know.
Howard the Duck's not annoying enough.
Oh no, of course not. No, but Howard the Duck would be trying to be like serious and get these pets going, these remarkably intelligent pets going in the right direction to be a team, to work together. Rocket would throw a little chaos in there, and it would be fun. And who would they fight? Who would they? What would be the storyline here? I realize you
They
were
would
just spitballing it when you came up with it,
they,
but still,
they
no,
would fight.
no pressure.
They would fight the group Hydrant.
Oh, what a pisser. Anyway,
Wow. Okay.
no, I like it. I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm not
great.
complaining either.
I don't even want to know who's in Hydrant, but it doesn't matter. It'd just be a bunch of pets who the only thing they say is "Hail Hydrant." That would be great.
It's a fluid organization, you know.
Harkening back to the days of yellow journalism.
That's right.
There you go. Set
No
it in like the
pressure.
30s. Set it in like the 1930s, and that would just make it perfect. I have no idea why, but it would. It would be fun.
No pressure.
Oh, was that intentional?
No.
Wow. Okay. Uh, some really cool choices, and of course, I would love to see the amalgam universe again, but yeah, that ain't gonna happen. And for those who don't know, what I'm talking about was back in the '90s, where Marvel and DC got together to do a crossover, DC versus Marvel. And what happened at one point, if I'm not mistaken, Les helped me out. Wasn't the universes kind of torn? The weren't the basically the universes were merged together for a short period of time, and that became the amalgam universe.
If I recall, the amalgam was where they took characters, known characters in each DC and Marvel universes, and made a meshing of them. Like
Yeah,
Darkflaw was Batman and Wolverine, and you had Bruce Wayne was an agent of Shield, which may have given DC the idea to put Grayson as an agent himself. The Marvel versus DC was just the fighting between their characters, and you supposedly got to vote as to who would win the fights. And some of them were really, really dumb resolutions to a fight.
yeah. But I was thinking that led into the creation of the universe, and then they separated again to their proper universe. It was fun. It was kind of It was kind of cool to see some of the characters that they came up with. Like you said, Darkclaw was Wolverine and Batman, and Super Soldier was Cap and Superman, and on and on. It was really cool. Would love to see that again on some version, variation, whatever. But yeah. So, great choices, guys. I liked all of them, even the one that Les just came up with right off the cuff.
Mm.
Wow, right at the knees.
So, any other ones before we take a break and discuss our picks?
No, I'm done. I'm
Okay.
good.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. So when we come back, we will have our comic picks of the week. And we're back. And it's time for our comic picks. And leading off is Les.
I'm going to start with an Image comic called Aloha Hawaiian Dick. This is written by D. Clay Moore, art by Jacob Wyatt. Moore has done a series of books. He's had 3 previous books: Hawaiian Dick, The Last Resort, and Hawaiian Dick, Screaming Black Thunder. The character is a man named Bird, who is a detective. In the series, they start in early to mid 1950s. In this issue, Aloha Hawaiian Dick, they are locating another person by the name of Bird in the States. And I say that because in 1954, Hawaii was not part of the U.S. at that time. This is going to be another mystery, and that's why it appeals to me. Moore is very good at giving you a 5 or 6 issue mystery to try to solve. And they're always fun. There's a lot of humor, yet there's enough there to make you think. My second choice is a new title, Department H by Dark Horse. Matt Kint, who does Mind Management, is doing a new sci-fi mystery where Mia, the main character, is trying to uncover sabotage at a deep sea research station. In this, she's got to find the saboteur, and there are aliens and monsters involved. My last choice is Astro City. Astro City is being put out by DC. Originally, it was Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. In this issue, it's Kurt Busiek and Brent Eric Anderson. The Astro Cities are just so good because you have a different look at all of the superheroes of Astro City. In this issue, Steeljack, who will probably look a lot like who was in Alien, elderly guy, small guy, kind of rat-faced. It's Harry Dean Stanton.
Okay.
Yes. He really good, really well written, but in this, Steeljack faces death itself to save another one of its characters. The question is he being set up for this big problem?
Cool. Very cool. Nice choices.
Thank you.
Well, I'm staying on the kite train with Divinity 2, number 1 from Valiant. It's obviously a follow-up to Divinity. And the premise was 3 cosmonauts did a mission to the farthest part of space that's ever been traveled. And in the first series, one came back with abilities of the deity. And in this follow-up, the co-pilot comes back to Earth as well. But obviously, she has a different agenda than what was his name, Abram Adams. I believe that was who was the first Divinity. So I'm excited about this. Of course, it's Valiant, so yeah, it's gonna be good. And of course, Trevor Hairstain's doing the art. For my second choice, if you guys know me, I love the manual source books that they put out, and Image is putting out one for Lazarus, It's Lazarus Sourcebook, and Greg Rucka is writing it with the art by Michael Lark. And usually with these for images, there's a little bit of a story, and then they do bios and technical information for the characters and equipment and technology and all that. And I'm a nut for those things. I always like that. So that's definitely going to be one of my pickup. Mikey, you're up.
Yes, I saw that Lazarus book. That's going to be fun. The last one I remember was for Postal, and that was a really cool one too.
That was very cool. I enjoyed the heck out of that.
Yep. All right. So for my picks, anyone who knows me, this is not going to come as much of a shock, but there is a new Dungeons and Dragons storyline coming out. I know it's hard to believe, and Jim Zub is writing it. Another shocker. So I mean, clearly, I'm going to check out anything he comes up with. And it is drawn by Nelson Daniel. And if you remember the last one, this was a year and a half ago. This was the one that he brought back Minsk and Boo, which were well-loved characters from the Baldur's Gate video game. And they're just a hoot. And this time they're going into Ravenloft, which, for those of you who are not aware, Ravenloft is essentially the D&D equivalent of Dracula's Castle. So the mildly insane fighter and his hamster sidekick are going to go face down a mega powerful vampire. And that, how can you possibly go wrong with a sales pitch like that? My second pick is throwback to the previous segment. Switch #3 is coming out. Switch is written and drawn by Szczepan Sajic, and it is basically the kind of a reimagining of the whole Witchblade concept, except in this particular setting, it has fallen into the hands of an insecure teenage girl who has absolutely no idea what to do with this thing, and it was kind of given to her by accident, and she is learning things as she goes and fighting horrible monsters, and it's really, in an awkward teenager sort of way, a lot of fun. It is really well written and, of course, beautifully drawn, and I highly recommend that people pick it up.
Cool. Very good choices all the way around.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think April's been a very good month to us so far.
Oh, yeah.
All right, any final comments before we wrap things up?
Be sure to pick up a copy of the DC previews this week. You will get a layout for their rebirth titles. And this will be something you should check to see what changes will be happening and see if you can pick up a different title than what you're reading now.
The rebirth roadmap.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
Woo!
Mikey?
I was just going to throw out the usual, throw us your feedback, check us out on iTunes. We really like feedback, and we would be thrilled and honored if you would give us a review, rate us, and we appreciate all the support that we get from everybody who supports us.
Yes. It's a special shout out to Potter and family and the members who have been retweeting our links to the podcast. Thank you guys so very much for the support, and we're trying to return that same support to you. So I know Mike has been doing it. I've been trying. I'm working on it, guys. I'm sorry, but I am. The heart's in the right place. I just need to get my act together. Yes, we always appreciate feedback, suggestions, any comments. You can contact us on our website, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can email us at email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. We are on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. We have a Twitter account, obviously, at Fellowship Geeks. Mikey has a personal Twitter page at Mikey Geek. And Holly has one at Holly Blake with 3 E's. And I have one at Tom TC Geek. So feel free to follow us and please spread the word of the fellowship. It's much appreciated. So with that, we thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, read more comics. We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,